Hey guys, today is November the 15th on a Saturday. So I had a little bit of time here before I really need to start cooking supper. It's done 2 o'clock. I've cleaned the house up and dishes and laundry. Has now hung laundry out. So the next thing that I need to do is process my tomatoes. My freezer is full of containers with tomatoes in it. And so I need to take care of that. I'm using this book here that I bought, I don't know how many years ago, but it's the Ball Blue Book Guide to Preserving. I'm still fairly new at canning and things, but I'm on page 34 and I'm looking at the tomato juice recipe. It says yield about 6 pints or 3-quart jars. Well, I'm gonna make all my tomatoes, but it says for that you would need 9 to 10.5 pounds of tomatoes, which is about 27 to 32 medium tomatoes. You'll need either Ball citric acid or bottled lemon juice. I use lemon juice, and salt is optional. So I have plenty of tomatoes. I'm not sure how much, but I'll just show you how I do this. I've done this a couple years, I think twice, that I've canned tomato juice before. So I'm going to do it again this year because we use that the most. And I still have lots of diced tomatoes, salsa. I have a little bit of salsa left. Things like that. So this video might be in pieces because, like I said, I have to stop and do things, but you can always pause, get to a certain point, and join back up with me if you're learning this. I'm putting together all different views of water bath canning, and I choose not to buy a pressure canner because I'm scared about the explosions and stuff that happens. So I've been looking up water bath canning for everything, okay? So this is a water bath canner that I received from my mother-in-law a few years ago. It's huge. It's even bigger than my biggest burner. This is my biggest burner. It's even bigger than that. But it does heat up well, and I got like 2 inches past the burner all the way around. But it does work. It just takes a very long time for this particular stove because it's got one of these safety, I don't know what it is. Sensi Temp Technology. So if it gets too hot, this burner will shut off instead of leaving it on high. It's okay though, it works, but it takes extra long for me. Some people use gas burners, use outside burners, your choice. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to think what else. I've already got some of these in here. The burner's not even on. As you can tell, it's off. Found some jars. And I got to thinking, well, maybe I need to show what I'm doing here. So this will hold 7. These are quart jars, the really tall ones. It'll hold 7 at a time to boil. So what I do is I take the jars. Let me back up a minute here. These jars have been washed before I put them away in storage or whatever. But I go on and double check them again when I get them out of storage. So let me get you hooked up on my tripod here and I can show you what I do. Okay, got you on my tripod, so I got both hands, yay. The lighting in the background might mess with it. Anyway, so I'll get my jars out of storage. And I do put my canning rings with my old lids that I have used. A lot of people say don't reuse lids. You do what you want to do, okay? I've done some research and everything, and this is what I do, okay? So this is already used lid, all right? First off, I check jars. So I run my finger and I look in the light and see if there's any cracks on this jar. It feels very smooth. You can tell by your finger. And then I go ahead and look in the light and make sure there's no cracks in the jar. And this prevents the jar busting in the canner with your food in it. I even give it a good look down at the bottom. Looks pretty good to me. Now you may see like faulty spots or whatever from the glass being made. So sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I go on and try it and it has worked last year. So alright, so I got the jar checked. I've got this old lid. As you can tell, it's got some wear on it. It might even have some tomato juice stain like on there because it's hard to get it off from washing by hand. And yes, I do reuse these. I always look and see if the rubber seal isn't damaged, okay? It's all there, all the way around. And here's another way to double check. I have this, I'm gonna set this on top of my jar here. I have this BP05 electric mason jar vacuum sealer, okay? And it'll do wide mouth and or regular mouth jars. It comes with a little charger with it and things, and you're supposed to have it, I think, above 50% charged before you can use it. And the charger just goes right inside there. You plug it in to the wall and there it goes. Here's the power button, and here's the little suction part. Now you can adjust this to wide mouth or regular, and I've got it set to, says inside there, regular mouth mason jar. Alright, I think, yeah, you can turn it and it comes off, and inside there it'll say, if you can see it, wide mouth mason jars, okay? And just screws off and screws on. There's a little red indicator here, unlock and locked. So make sure it's good and locked on there for regular. Alright, so I just put this on top of here, push down, and then we turn it on. And this says to use it all the way up to at least 45. I go ahead and do it to 50. This is the pressure that it's counting down here. Or seconds, I think. It's actually seconds. Then I turn it off. Now when you turn it off, it tells you how much battery life you have left. See that? So when it gets down to 50, I gotta recharge. So I just wiggled it off, and then what I do to check is pull up on it. Don't look like it's coming off, and then I use my little bottle opener and gently, this is how I open my jars anyway. See that little hook? I don't even know what this is called, what kind of opener this is, but I put it right underneath that lip and give it a gentle tug. You hear that? It did seal. Okay, so this will work. And I put it over here with the rest of my piles here. I got one more to test, but this jar is ready, so I'm gonna show you what I do now. What we do is we bring these jars up to steaming, and that sanitizes the jars, okay? And once it's steaming, we dump out the water that's inside these jars to fill them up with the juice, right? So to save on water, because I feel like I waste a lot of water, I dump these jars back down inside here because it's hot water ready to go. All right, and so at the beginning I won't fill up my canner all the way up, if that makes sense. You'll see what I mean later on in the video. So these canners can be very heavy when you are trying to pick them up. Well, I'm not trying to break my back, okay? So I have a pitcher, and I just go ahead and get it from the tap water. And I go ahead and fill up the jar. It's easier to hold a pitcher or a jar than to move my big canner full of water and jars from my sink over here to the stove, which is what I done the first time. And I pour over the jars like that. And I got one more jar that'll fit right inside there. So I'm gonna turn you to my little station over here. A little bit faster here. Double check. Make sure there's no cracks. Anything like that. Alright, let's give a check. See if this jar lid will seal. I've got some onions sprouted from those little cuttings, and I've put them in little pots with dirt in them, and look at them. This is lettuce, organic lettuce that I bought from the store. This is purple onion, and this is also yellow onion and yellow onion. Tug and coming off. You can even test it like this. It's not popping. So this lid is usable. I got all my jar rings here and my lids here, which I'll turn them upside down now. I've got them all done. And we will fill this jar up with some water. Last jar. And I'll go ahead and fill up my little pitcher here on here. Like I said, this canner's not on. Because I want to cook dinner here in a minute, but I'm getting it ready and prepared. This is what you call like cold starting. I'll probably do a couple more pictures. Okay, that's about halfway up the jars, actually a little bit further. So I'm gonna stop right here and I'm gonna put my top on here. And it will be ready for when I start processing tomatoes. All my tomatoes are frozen, and it says to put them in a pot, a big pot, and, well, let me read the instructions so I tell you correctly, but it says for prepping, you have to wash tomatoes under cold running water and drain them, and remove the core and the blossom ends, and then cut tomatoes into quarters. I think, well, my juicer up there, see it right there? I have to get it down also. But it will spit out cores, peels, and seeds. So I don't think I have to peel them or anything. I would probably just heat them up, wash them up, put them in. I have a big stock pot here. So I wash up the tomatoes, quarter them like they said, set them in here, get them warm. I'd say warm probably juice better, I don't know. But I think I juiced them when they was cold last time. My little juicer, it keeps getting clogged up because it's not used to doing that much. So that's a long process in itself too. So before I start tomatoes, I always turn this on and get it going about medium. That'll get the jars hot water, you know, get it going. And it'll be steaming by the time I'm done processing all of the tomato juice in order to be filled into the canner. So it'll be steamed. And then we just got to bring it to a boil once it's all full. That takes a while to bring to a boil. Then we have to boil it for 40 minutes. So stay tuned. I'm gonna cook dinner. Probably gonna be salmon patties. Let's see if I can find, yep. It's gonna be salmon patties. And who knows what sides to go with it. So I might dub this as 2 different videos. Cooking dinner and canning.